Hey everyone, Galen here. Um, so I just want to apologize very quickly for not being active these past several months. I moved back in the end of August, early September. So the last few months have been very crazy. Um, but I am back today, and I am going to go in a little bit of detail about how I got started into HP modding and why I decided to do that. And the reason that I chose to start modding the HP games is because the Harry Potter games are actually the first games that I played when I was very young. This is actually what really got me into gaming, especially at that time. I actually remember buying this game when it first came out. I actually bought them both at the same time, the first and the second one. And I was just so fascinated by them that I ended up falling in love with gaming as a whole because of it. And I took a liking to modding it because I remember I think I became involved in the modding community probably around 2009, 2010. I was in high school at that time. And I remember when QB's Magical's program came out, and that's kind of when I really started getting into HP modding, especially at that time. And there was actually a rumor that one of the HP demos for HP2 was actually made by a modder and not by the developers. So that was kind of intriguing. And when I started following HP modding more closely after QB released his program, and then Coops ended up making his editor, but Jack was actually the first person to make an editor for the HP games. He made a HP2 editor, which sadly I don't have anymore, but that was when I first started modding HP. He actually sent me the editor to me one day when we were Skyping, and I actually uploaded some of the stuff that I messed around with. I believe I messed around with Forbidden Forest maps, or not the Forbidden Forest maps, the yeah, actually I think I did edit the Forbidden Forest map and the Whopping Willow map. I put those on my database. It's the first ever map I ever edited. So after I started modding HP2 with Jack's editor, I started using Coops' program, which I think was released shortly after that, which gave you the ability to mod all three of the games. And even though QB's program gave you that ability too, that didn't work too well. And Coops' program was a little bit better at that time. And then now, from the time that Koops's editor came out to this moment, HP modding has really just like evolved. And it's insane, like how big the community has grown since then. I know BlizzMed actively mods, Adam actively mods it, I still actively mod it. Unworld made his editor, which I don't believe is being updated anymore, but his editor is amazing. And I was able to do, and still able to do, some really cool stuff with it, as that's actually the editor that I'm using now. To mod HP1 from my E3 project, and eventually I'd like to play around with HP2 and HP3 a little bit more, since I'm not too experienced at modding those two games. HP1 is actually the easier one to mod. But yeah, that's kind of how I got my start. And now that I've been modding the HP games, it's made me realize that I actually want, to mod other games as well. So I actually kind of got into modding the Grand Theft Auto games, more specifically Grand Theft Auto 4. And I want to get into modding some of the other games that were made with Unreal Engine as well. And there's so many games out there that I'd like to mod, and hopefully maybe someday I can be a professional developer. That's one of my aspirations. But yeah, that's basically how I got my start into HP modding. I fell in love with these games at an early age, and when I was about 7-8 years old, and I've been playing them to this very day, and I will continue to play these games for years to come. So yeah, that's about it. That's basically how I got my big start into HP modding, and I'm hoping to continue with that, and to kind of grow and evolve with the community, as well as growing and evolving into other communities as well. I know the Shrek 2 modding community is actually starting to build, and I'd like to see one start with and the Lemony Snicket community is I'm hoping is picking up as well. I hope to see that build, and there's just so many communities I'd like to be a part of. And I know there was a game out there at one point called Pariah that I believe was made with Unreal Engine as well. I kind of like to play around with that too. There's so many games that I just want to, so many communities I want to be a part of. So I'm hoping that I can really contribute to that. Um, but yeah, yeah, my love for these games goes back many, many years. Uh, I'm gonna continue playing these games for a very long time. Um, and I'm aiming to take. Um, I'm hoping to take modding to a whole new level with other games um, and oh, come on, get in there. There you go. Yeah, that should do it. Um, and I kind of just want to grow and build, along with other communities. And actually, Batman. Now that I think about it, Batman was actually released with the Unreal Engine. So I'd like to, um, play around with that as well. But yeah, that basically explains why I got into the Harry Potter games and uh but yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Um Stay tuned. There's more to come.